So, brother, I think we have a very bold vision for Reformation Frontline Missions. Will you explain to those that are listening right now what our vision is as an organization?
Yeah, well, our vision is threefold. It is for every local church, we want to see them awakened to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ,
Mm,
armed to take Christ into the public square, and
mm,
advancing Christ's kingdom in their community.
yeah, let's break that down for people. What do we mean by awaken the local church to proclaim the gospel?
Sure. So first, as we partner with local churches, we want them to see our own example as RFM, who is sending evangelists into the public square to proclaim the gospel through the media content that we're putting out, that they can uh, uh, be inspired by that, but then also to personally go to them and teach them, and all for the goal of inspiring them, for awakening them to see the opportunities around them.
That it's possible. A local
Yeah,
church can have an impact in their community. I want them to
absolutely.
see that and just to challenge them, right? So the second aspect, arming the local church to go into the public square. What do we mean by that?
Right. So every church, once they're inspired, should be asking themselves, how do we do this? How are we going to do this? What tools do we need? What resources do we need? And so we want to supply that. We want to help them evaluate their own context, and come together and see the creative ways in which they can take the gospel to their
Yeah.
community, because every community is going to be different, and so we will actually evaluate that with them, and give them the resources necessary.
Yeah. So by resources, I'll give an example, sign evangelism. We do sign evangelism as a church. So we have signs, but you shouldn't have our church's, refchurch.com's web address on the bottom of the sign. So we would want to supply you with, if you wanted to do that, ministry signs, prayer station banners, different things like that, the physical things that you're going to need to get, to arm yourself, and also the training, because we talk about this in proclamation. A prayer station is a great example. It's insufficient to just have a prayer station and you pray for people. What is the point of this? It is to make Jesus unavoidable. It is to proclaim the gospel. The church is proclaiming the gospel. So the prayer station is an opportunity based upon somebody's felt need for them to come. They want prayer. But our objective is to introduce this person to someone who's acquainted with grief, and to introduce them to Jesus. And
Right.
so that's our objective. And so that's that part of that training. How do you do that? How do you turn a conversation to it so it's a gospel conversation? So this last aspect, let's talk about that. Advancing Christ's kingdom in their community. What do we mean by that?
Yeah, well, it's one thing to be inspired. It's one thing to be armed. But it's another thing to actually get outside and do it. To actually get off the couch
Yeah.
and go make Jesus unavoidable. A lot of people can have inspiration and good intentions, um, without actually stepping out in boldness and obedience to go do it. And so we want to local churches to know that they're not alone in this. And so we will actually, even if a local church is starting to launch an evangelistic um, um, outreach, we will come to them
Yeah.
and even send a team to them to aid them in their efforts.
To do it with them. I mean,
Yeah.
we would come and do it with them to show them how it's done. The beauty of what we're trying to do is form a network of churches that are like-minded, that have this same mission, and that are doing this together. And so there's some pretty cool things that can happen when you have a network. Let's say you have a special outreach that you want to involve, and we can go and get several churches to come and make Jesus unavoidable on a specific day or weekend or certain time period in your community, where everybody gets a track in your town, because we've all come out to do this with you.